Laurent Mekies has had a long and multifaceted journey in Formula One, one of the most competitive and high-pressure environments in motorsport. His career includes a significant role as sporting director at Ferrari, the iconic Italian team based in Maranello, where he spent several seasons overseeing crucial aspects of both technical and sporting operations, after having previously spent a period working for the FIA, the governing body of Formula One. Before joining Ferrari, Laurent Mekies served as chief engineer at Toro Rosso, the team now known as AlphaTauri, where he developed a solid foundation in car development and race engineering. He is an engineer with an exceptionally strong technical background and a clear, methodical understanding of the intricacies of race car design and performance. However, during his time at Maranello, Ferrari often utilized him more as a political figure within the team structure, focusing on mediation and internal coordination, rather than fully unleashing his engineering expertise. Laurent Mekies wanted more space and responsibility to influence both technical and human aspects of the team, but when those opportunities did not materialize, he made the difficult decision to leave Ferrari, saying a heartfelt goodbye to colleagues and returning to his roots in Faenza, where he had previously worked. In today's top tier of motorsport, it is not unusual for engineers to be placed into team principal roles, bridging the gap between technical management and overall team leadership. This trend exists in several Formula One teams, though it is not always guaranteed to be the most successful or appropriate choice, as the skill sets required for technical engineering and for leading an entire racing organization are often quite distinct. Nevertheless, there are examples of engineers who have excelled in these positions. In Laurent Mekies' case, beyond the general industry trend, he personally sought greater autonomy and the ability to express himself more fully in areas such as human management, strategic decision-making, and the intricate organizational aspects of running a Formula One team. During his tenure at Ferrari, the French manager did not leave a particularly strong mark in terms of visible results or decisive breakthroughs. On the contrary, he occasionally found himself in uncomfortable or awkward situations, the most notable being the Sebastian Vettel incident during the 2019 Canadian Grand Prix. In that situation, Laurent Mekies relied on the analysis conducted by Karun Chandok, a former Formula One driver and technical analyst, which ultimately led to no substantial outcome and was criticized extensively by media and fans alike. It was perhaps at this moment that the Frenchman realized that the team principal role in the context of Ferrari might not align with his personal strengths or ambitions. Subsequently, the COVID-19 pandemic further complicated matters, causing the team's progress to stagnate for a couple of racing seasons, leaving little room for Laurent Mekies to implement meaningful change or innovation. As the Formula One calendar gradually returned to normalcy, Laurent Mekies expressed interest in taking on a different role within Ferrari, one that would allow him to explore his ideas and exert more influence over both team dynamics and strategic planning. An opportunity emerged when Mattia Binotto, the then team principal of Ferrari, was eventually replaced. Mekies formally requested consideration for the role, confident that his experience and insight would make him a suitable candidate. However, Ferrari ultimately chose another French engineer, Frédéric Vasseur, to fill the position. This decision made it clear that Mekies' career in Maranello would likely never reach the level of authority and autonomy that he sought. Without hesitation and with professional clarity, Laurent Mekies communicated to the historic Scuderia Ferrari team that his chapter in Maranello was drawing to a close. His return to Faenza, home of AlphaTauri, proved to be a highly positive move for his career. His professional status and reputation increased significantly, to the point that when Red Bull Racing later decided to part ways with Christian Horner, the long-standing and highly respected team principal of the Milton Keynes-based squad, Laurent Mekies was immediately considered as the first and primary candidate for the position. Despite this, his appointment was initially met with skepticism from many observers in the Formula One community, with some suggesting that he might be only a temporary solution or a stopgap choice. However, it soon became clear that the doubts were misplaced. Even those of us who initially held reservations about the French manager's abilities were proven wrong. Within the Red Bull Racing organization, his impact was immediate and transformative. His tenure began with notable effectiveness, bringing a sense of calm, stability, and confidence to a team that had recently lost several key figures, including Adrian Newey, the legendary aerodynamicist, often regarded as one of the greatest technical minds in Formula One history. The 40-year-old Frenchman from Tours quickly changed the mentality and atmosphere within Red Bull Racing. Among the first and most vocal supporters of his leadership was Max Verstappen, the highly talented Dutch driver and reigning Formula One world champion. Verstappen immediately observed that the team atmosphere had improved dramatically under Laurent Mekies, with all team members clearly understanding their roles, responsibilities and objectives, and without the added stress of micromanagement. This sense of clarity and focus was exactly what Red Bull Racing needed after years of a more authoritarian approach, which had frustrated even a world-class talent like Max Verstappen. Laurent Mekies' strength lies not only in his technical understanding, but also in his ability to identify areas that require improvement and implement effective solutions. For example, he made significant changes to the team's simulation department, introducing a more structured and optimized approach to operational procedures. The former Ferrari technical director also demonstrated a remarkable aptitude for transforming the team's mindset, fostering collaboration, and instilling a sense of confidence in both engineers and drivers. Even when the team faced challenging situations, Mekies recognized that Red Bull Racing possessed the necessary resources, talent, and infrastructure to perform at the highest level during race weekends, and he successfully leveraged these assets to produce results. His impact extended beyond technical improvements. One of his most effective contributions was instilling a more aggressive and proactive approach within the team, both in terms of car development and race strategy. Mekies emphasized the importance of pushing boundaries, taking calculated risks, and exploring innovative technical and strategic solutions. This renewed aggressiveness and determination effectively reawakened the competitive DNA of Red Bull Racing, which had been somewhat dormant following the departure of key figures. The team's renewed vigor quickly translated into on-track results, providing tangible proof of the effectiveness of Mekies' leadership and strategic vision. At this stage, the key question is, does leaving Ferrari guarantee success? Mekies' methodology and approach enjoy the full support of Helmut Marko, the legendary advisor and talent scout for Red Bull Racing, as well as the rest of the team's senior management. With 7 Grands Prix and 3 sprint races remaining in the season, the Drivers' Championship is within reach, and Mekies is carefully guiding the team toward that goal. He is working in close collaboration with Max Verstappen, the highly skilled Dutch driver, to ensure that no opportunity is overlooked and that every possible advantage is pursued. From the moment of his arrival, the team has embraced a willingness to take calculated risks, which has proven to be a highly effective strategy. This mindset has enabled engineers to better understand the behavior of the car in various conditions, and has facilitated experimentation and refinement of the RB21's competitive edge. Simultaneously, Mekies has pushed for continuous upgrades, ensuring that the technical details of the car are constantly refined, corrected, and improved to maintain peak performance on race weekends. All of these efforts reflect exactly what Laurent Mekies would have sought to implement during his time at Ferrari, where he was not given the opportunity to fully develop or expand his vision. Statistically, Laurent Mekies belongs to the group of individuals who may have seemed constrained or underutilized at Ferrari, but who, once placed in a new working environment that allows them to exercise their skills and creativity, are capable of making a decisive difference. His success at Red Bull Racing highlights the difficulty of fully realizing potential within the Ferrari structure, despite his considerable expertise, experience, and dedication. Laurent Mekies' journey is a reminder that in Formula One, the right environment and organizational support can be just as important as talent and knowledge in achieving meaningful results.